Welcome back, boys and girls. We are so excited to continue bringing Branch into the home as we are apart, and we wanted to go ahead and start a new calendar day again in the same month. So I'm going to ask you the question and I'm going to pause and let you answer each one on your own. What month is it? Last month was February. We're at the end of this month of March. Good job. March. We're going to drop down and we're going to do the number, the date, which I'm excited to see right now is quarter day. So if you, as you are thinking about what number comes after 24, maybe that gives you a hint. If you would like to start from the top with 1, uno, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Good job. It is 25. And remember, we always think about what does that look like? There's two numbers in the one number 25. This is the two numbers in the number 24, the 2 and the 4. So think about what two numbers make the number 25. Got it? Great. Kiss your brain. 25. 2 and a 5. So we know that that's going to be here on the number part, but what is it going to be in our pattern? A muchacho or a muchacha? Let's see. In our pattern, is it a girl or a boy? Good job. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You realized it. It was a girl. So now we know it's a 25. There is going to be a girl. But what color is it? And we have a little trick here today. In our diagonal pattern, because of St. Patrick's Day, there's a little bit of a bump and jump going that way. So you can use your rainbow sequencing knowledge and find out what comes after violet, because we're starting over again. And I already can hear you through the airwaves. Everyone knows it's red, because red is the first color of the rainbow sequence, and we're starting over again. So, ta-da! Here it is. She's got her quarter attached to remind us that a quarter equals 25 cents. Now we're going to rocket ship straight up and find the day of the week. There it is. It's the only day of the week, boys and girls, that starts with this sound. So I think it'll be a quick answer. Wednesday. So here it goes, and many times at school we'll call it Wacky Wednesday. Sometimes our calendar helper will even turn it upside down, so in tribute to that, I'm going to hang it upside down to make it a little wacky for you. So we're going to read it now. Today is Wacky Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. And boys and girls, don't forget, especially on a wonderful Wednesday, we wonder what's the weather on Wednesday. So don't forget to be checking the weather on your own as we move into I Care rules. And this time I'm going to be silent. I want you to do it on your own, because I know that you can look at these words and that you have memorized them in your head. And so I'm going to say, what is rule number 1? We. Good job. We do listen to each other. Number 2, about great. Hands are for helping. Number 3, we use, excellent, we do use I care language, and remember to use those examples at home. And number 4, we care. Wonderful. My favorite, you know. Number 5, we are. That's right. And if we make a mess, and if we make a promise, great job. Also, regarding the apple count, we are going to put that on hold because you know why we count the apples. We count them because we record how many days we've been in school. And so we're going to hold those apples for you and make sure that you get to experience every single one of those when we have that opportunity. To continue on with our lesson on the letter X, we have this book called Pirate Pete. It's written by Kim Kennedy and illustrated by Doug Kennedy, both with the same last name, just like in our alphabet mystery from yesterday with Audrey and Bruce Wood. And this book celebrates the use of the letter X, just as I mentioned before about using it to mark where a treasure might be on a map. So stay tuned about your assignment. Pirate Pete. This is probably in all of the books in the many years of teaching that I have seen it's my favorite treasure map. It's a treasure map found by a queen and used by a pirate. Pirate Pete. Gold put the twinkle in Pirate Pete's eye, the shine in his hook, and the sparkle in his smile. Why, he liked gold so much that he plundered every ship and shore in the 7 seas in search of the gleaming booty. But when he heard that the queen had discovered a real treasure map, Pete just had to have it. After all, he exclaimed to his parrot, where there's treasure, there's gold. And where there's gold, I'm a-goin'. Pete journeyed to the queen's castle, where he whispered a plan to his feathered companion. You sing her to sleep, and I will just steal the map. Aye, squawked the bird, and up he fluttered to the highest tower where the queen sat, gloating over the map. Softly the parrot sang her a lullaby, very much like Master M did in our book yesterday, when little X used the xylophone. The dirty trick, the old high C snoozeroo, worked like a charm on that queen. While her head bobbed like a man overboard, Pete climbed the tower and snatched up that map. Now that was not a very good choice, because the map did not belong to him, but it is part of the story. By the time the queen awoke, Pete was far out to sea. Unfurl the map! That means like unroll it. You know how we roll up maps? Well, it means unroll it. Unfurl the map, he told his bird. There lies the gold, he declared, and he pointed to the bold black X. It was right on Mermaid Island. To Mermaid Island we go. We must be swift, said the parrot. Her Majesty's fleet will be after us for sure. Pete spun the wheel east, and with a great gust of wind, the ship sailed off. Oh, I love this part. Can you see that part? Fine sailing weather, said the parrot. Pete might have agreed. Aye, 'tis. But he had just spied an island ahead, and he checked the map. That must be Candy Island. I think we should maybe pay it a visit. Oh, we don't have time, said the parrot. We've got to get to Mermaid Island. Oh, you listen up, matey, said Pete. Where there's candy, there's rotten teeth. And where there's rotten teeth, there is gold to fill them. And where there is gold, I'm a-goin'. That stubborn pirate turned the ship toward Candy Island, and with a good wind behind them, they were soon upon its sugar shore. How about that? Have a sugary shore. Avast, ye candy eaters, Pete ordered the islanders. Open ye mouth so I can see your gold teeth. Pete peeked into the mouth of every licorice licking, taffy tagging, chocolate chomping soul on that island, but he had not reckoned on the tooth brushing. Wow, pearly whites, he cursed. They all did a great job brushing their teeth. No gold, no gleaming booty, he snatched up some sweets and shoved off. I'll not veer off course again, he promised his parrot. To Mermaid Island we go. Hey, look. That reminds us of St. Patrick's Day. We just had that. Fine sailing weather, said the parrot. Pete might have agreed. Aye, it is, but I don't know. I just spied a spot of luck on Clover Island. But that's not where we're headed, said the parrot. Listen up, matey, grumbled Pete. Where there's clover, there's leprechauns. And where there's leprechauns, there's pots of gold. And where there's gold, what, boys and girls? I'm a-goin'. You guys are going to have to help me with this part. There's a little elf, cried Pete as the ship creaked ashore. A genuine leprechaun. It's sitting next to a pot of gold. Before the merry man could crack his hat, Pete seized the pot, scrambled to the ship, and shoved off. Irish stew, he hollered when he lifted the lid. No gold? No gleaming booty? He gnashed his teeth, just like the Wild Things. Remember that book where they gnashed their teeth and they rolled their eyes and they showed their claws? He gnashed his teeth. I'll not veer off course again, said Pete. Next stop, Mermaid Island. I love this one too. Let's see. Fine sailing weather, yawned the bird. Pete might have agreed. Aye, 'tis, but he just spied a soothing sight for his tired eyes. It was Sleepy Island. But that's not where we're headed, the parrot reminded him. But listen up, matey, said Pete. Where there's sleeping, there's the Sandman, and where there's Sandman, there's magic gold pixie dust. And where there's gold, I'm a-goin'. Pete sailed to the snoozing shores where the Sandman was tiptoeing from bed to bed. Pete grabbed the old man's bag and reached inside. Storybooks, Pete bellowed, waking the island up. No gold, no gleaming booty, so he hooked a book and shoved off. I'll not veer off course again, he said, pulling on his nightcap. Tomorrow morning, we make it to Mermaid Island. Look at the quilt. The sun rose and the ship sailed on. Fine sailing weather, said the bird. Well, Pete might have agreed. Aye, it is, but he just spied a smoldering sight. Dragon Island. What? He turned the ship toward its smoky peaks. But that's not where we're headed, flapped the parrot. But listen up, matey, said Pete. Where there's dragon, there's lairs. And where there's lairs, there's gold. And where there's gold, I'm a-goin'. Ashore! Pete crept up onto the dragon's lair, where he found the giant lizard snoozing beside a golden egg. Between the snorts and snores, Pete snuck that egg from its hazy nest, rolled it to his ship, and shoved off. "'Tis a golden goose egg?" guessed Pete. Suddenly, the shiny shell cracked open and out popped a baby dragon with a mouthful of flames. "That's That's no goose, cried Pete. That's a fire-breathing lizard, and my word, he has set our sails ablaze. Abandon ship. So they have their candy, and they have their books from Sleepy Island, and the Clover Good Luck, and the Irish stew, and oh my goodness, now a little baby dragon. But no gold yet. While the baby dragon flew off with his mother, Pete and his parrot jumped onto a rowboat. The parrot watched in despair as their trusty ship sank beneath the waves with a shimmering splash. "We are done for," said the parrot. "Whale bait, shark snacks." "Oh, there's no sharks," said Pete. "There's just mermaids." "Oh, we made it," cheered the parrot. "We've made it. We've made it to Mermaid Island." "Hand me the treasure map," Pete declared, crawling onto shore. After yelling out paces and counting out steps and following every direction, hobbling to the right and wobbling to the left, Pete finally called out, "Here it is! X marks the spot." And Pete began digging, and he struck something. "A treasure chest," he cried. With a clang of his cutlass, he broke the chest's lock, and the lid flew open to reveal gold, he sang. Gleaming booty. It was a pirate's dream come true. While Pete just bathed in the glorious riches, a shadow fell across him. And this is where we say, what, boys and girls? Dun, dun, dun. Uh-oh. It was the queen. Remember, it was her map. She squawked as the parrot and the guards gathered around. Look here, your majesty," said Pete, fumbling for a little fib. I got your treasure all dug up and waiting just for you." But the queen would not be tricked this time. "Take the gold," she ordered her men, "but leave the pirate and his bird here alone." Then, as quickly as he had come, the queen and her troops disappeared. "Oh, all that work and no gold, no gleaming booty," moaned the parrot. "What's worse, we're marooned on this island." "Oh, not to worry, matey," said Pete with a wink. "The queen may have taken our gold, but she forgot our boat." So Pete and his faithful companion set off again, this time for into the sunset, where the ocean glistened like 1,000 coins of gold. After all, where there was gold, they were a-going. The end. Okay, so now this is an activity that you can do at home. Find a paper or a brown bag, tissue, anything. The rattier the better, really, if it's an old treasure map. And be inspired by this. It's really one of, like I said, it's one of my favorite treasure maps of all time. And if you look at it, it's got the quadrants, which you don't have to worry about. But if you like that idea, you can get a ruler or a straight line and you can make some quadrants. And then, but mainly what I want you to look at is the ideas for places to put on your map, whether they're water, bodies of water, or land. And then I want you to design the different kinds of islands or places or waterways that you would pick. And then where it says Her Majesty's treasure map, you could put your own name and label it as your treasure map, and you can make some type of little logo or little title page up there. And so I want you to I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see and be reminded of like the Candy Island or the Storybook Island, and make sure you remember where X marks the spot. So I was inspired, and I got out a piece of paper, and I went ahead and thought of some ideas, and really inspired by many of my students, I made a heart garden island. I made an Easter egg island with little eggs hiding in the grass, a candy island, a dragon sea and golden egg nest off of the water, a storybook enchanted forest where the trees told stories. And I picked a spot to glue my X. I even found a treasure chest and put some sparkle and labeled it treasure. And that's what's fun about a treasure map, is that once it's yours and you're the author and the illustrator, it can be anything in your imagination. And then at the end, don't be afraid to crumble it up like we've done before on some of our projects. You might want to make it look like it's been carried around out at sea and passed from person to person and explorer to explorer. Don't worry if it rips or gets tattered a little bit along the way. And it turns out and makes it look like an old map. And when you're done, if you want to keep it a secret, you turn it on its side and you roll it up. And you can get a piece of yarn or ribbon or something that you have at home, and you can tie it around, and you can keep it somewhere where nobody else knows. Have fun.